which is very important. Vote common sense. Vote wisely. Common sense is simple and easy to get out there. And we all know nation, they have been able to set a standard, because one of the ways by which you can know who to vote for is in the first place when they're able to speak. But it's only at that level that we have seen contestants really pour out their minds, being challenged, being vote a new way of thinking, a new system of trying to employ somebody into your company. You are the owner of this nation. The people are the only to manage the land. Best competence. You look for the best. So many times the people do not realize that the powers that be are actually against them. Let this be known that the election is not just the end of it. It's not about getting the vote and getting the right person in the power, for example, or voting the right person and thinking that you have voted and that's all. No, it is time for the people to get involved at every looking into what the people you have put there are doing. And then, because leadership, sometimes the government is just like a necessary evil at times. Alright, good everyone, happy new year and welcome to 2023 from me, Arakengi. It's been a while and I welcome you all to this year. And this year is very significant in Nigeria. This year is very significant in Nigeria as this is our election year. And there's nothing much to say, there's nothing new to be said. But the same thing has to be said over and over and over again. We've got to get it right this time. I mean, we cannot afford to get things wrong this time. And by saying getting things wrong, my own emphasis is not just always about the election. And of course, we're going to talk about the election, which is very important. Vote common sense. Vote wisely. Common sense is simple and easy to get out there. And we all know what is right. We all know what is true. And so don't leave your sense and don't leave your heart and then go to vote your mouth or go to vote your lust or sentiment. Vote with sense, vote with common sense. Think deep, sit down, analyze. A lot of people have problem with sitting down and judging. Use your discernment, use your common sense, use every faculty of intelligence that you have and decide who to vote with at every of this time. And of course, we have a problem with this, but deciding who is who. But we appreciate the people that are setting the pace for the presidential election of this nation. They have been able to set a standard, because one of the ways by which you can know who to vote for is in the first place when they're able to speak. But it's only at that level that we have seen contestants really pour out their minds, being challenged, being communicative and communicated to. So we've had that high level of communication to understand the heart, and this has to spread into other sectors of the government, into other levels of government, into the state government and local government. But even if we do not have that level of transparency yet in all those levels, we know what we want. And this is a journey of a long time. This is a long-term journey that we have started here. And so everybody knows what is right. You know what is right. You cannot afford to make the wrong decision at this time. So vote common sense. And I have some things to highlight here. Number one is, as this election is approaching, vote with sense. Vote leadership intelligence. We know what leadership capacity is. You know what it entails to be a good leader. If you don't know it, find there are people who knows it, and you can. We all know what bad leadership has been for us. We all know, we have always heard it, even if you don't understand what it means in deepest. There's nobody here who wouldn't understand anyway that the capital problem that we've been having is leadership. And so we need competent leadership. We need leadership intelligence, and then vote a new way of thinking, a new system of thinking, new orientation of thinking. Maybe sometimes later we're going to be analyzing this. There's a way that there's an orientation of politics, there's an orientation of leadership that has been going on for years, which has been detrimental to the progress of our nation. And of course, not just our nation, but generally the African nations. But then vote a new system of thinking, a service-oriented system of thinking, a true leadership kind of thinking. And of course, vote competence based on record. People that have done things, and this is why it's very interesting, the presidential terrain and the journey towards the presidential election so far. It's been one of the best with the highest standard. There has been debates, there's been discussions, there has been investigation, there has been verification. You need to look at the past records of the people that you are trying to bring into employment, trying to employ as the managers of the company called this nation. It's just like you're trying to employ somebody into your company. You are the owner of this nation. The people are the owners of this nation. The people owned this land, and you're trying to employ somebody to manage the land, or you manage the company, manage the business. You look for the best competence, you look for the best record. But it's unfortunate that we have been doing the otherwise for years now. But it's time to look for those competences that you will see in a diligent manager that would be productive for the land, for the good of all, and bring them to power. And so, like I said, vote new systems of thinking, new ways of thinking. Vote competence based on record. Vote integrity from record, from history and all of that. Vote transparency. We have seen all of these things, and we appreciate everyone out there that has laid a high standard. It's not been like this in years, but now we have a very high standard that every other person will definitely have to follow suit strongly. And so vote transparency and vote for people that have the heart of the people. There's this concept that I have that there's always a competition between the powers that be and the people. There's always usually the contradiction or the battle between those two people. One is against the other and the other is against the other. And so many times the people do not realize that the powers that be are actually against them. But then some of these things have become clear. And most of the time what makes a good leader is a leader who is actually part of the people, or who has given him or herself for the people and to the people, not to exploit them, but to work for them. And so this is about the people, and only a person that has a heart of and for the people should be brought to leadership. Leadership in the first place is about service, it's about the people, and not necessarily about the leader. When it's all about the leader, when it's all about the leader's ambition, when it's all about the leader's intention, then that's not leadership. That's a selfish kind of whatever you can define it as. And then lastly, vote. You can use this formula in all of this that I'm saying. Vote a heart, a pure heart, a good heart. Vote an intelligent mind. Vote strong hands, beautiful hands, creative hands, and vote a vibrant spirit. All right. Lastly, I would like to point this out too. Even though this vote is very important, very significant, and it's important for us to do the best, if you haven't gotten your PVC, you should have gotten it by now. And whatever you're waiting for, we need a change of hands. We need a change into the right hands, and we cannot afford to fail this time. We cannot afford to fail this time. A lot of people are doing everything and anything and all the good things that they can do. We appreciate everyone playing their part, every people playing their part for the progress of this nation at this time. But let this be known that the election is not just the end of it. It's not about getting the vote and getting the right person in the power, for example, or voting the right person and thinking that you have voted and that's all. No, it is time for the people to get involved at every level of investigating, of inquiring, of questioning everything, of looking back, checking back, looking into what the people you have put there are doing and ensuring that you know what you want. We know what we want as a people. It is time for the people to determine and define what they want the future to be like, and to make sure that the people they have employed to be leaders of the nation, of their land, because leadership, sometimes the government is just like a necessary evil at times. And if you have to have a government to do some of this work, then you have to be able to monitor. So the people have to be ready to monitor every stage of development, even when we have been able to employ, I use that word, employ the right person, and make sure that we monitor everything and to ensure that they deliver what is excellent. All right, that's what I have for you for this time. Once again, Happy New Year, and hope to catch you soon. God bless you. Bye. It's Arakenge. See ya. Ọlọ́run mi àrà, Ọlọ́run mi àrà, Ọlọ́run àrà kéńké.